The top cop who put his badge on the line for justice.
You know the name Doug Poppa?
Yes, I do. God bless Doug Poppa, an honest cop.
He was a man of integrity. His testimony last summer freed an innocent man from jail who had already been convicted of shooting his ex-wife. But Poppa's going public cost him his job as an undercover cop.
I was elated, of course, but then as he testified, I was somewhat concerned for him, because I knew that they were probably going to crucify that man.
Sometimes the truth has a price. That may be the lesson of a Virginia police officer who says, in trying to do the right thing, he ended up paying for it.
The message you're sending is, see, we did it, Doug. You don't come out, you don't buck the system. No matter what the reason is, you just can basically keep your mouth shut. But if I wouldn't do it all over again, I would take the badge and I would leave it on somebody's desk and get out of police work. Because the day I can't tell the truth because somebody's pressuring me, and the day the system doesn't want me to tell the truth because somebody's pressuring me, is the day I leave the badge on the desk and walk away.
Poppa was fired for insubordination. One man who confronted truth and consequences.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Truth and Consequences podcast. It's Sunday, October 9, 2022. This is episode 123. My name is Doug Poppa. As you all know, I'm an independent investigative journalist. I'm a former U.S. Army military police veteran. Spent about 18 years in law enforcement and another 18 years approximately in the hotel casino industry as an investigator, the director of security at one property, director of security and surveillance at another property. I also spent a short time with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. While I'm on the subject of USDHS, listen to this. Since the inception of the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA, it was after 9/11 when they formed it, no aircraft, American aircraft carrier, leaving an American airport has been hijacked or blown up. So you got to say, out of all the government agencies, that the Homeland Security, Transportation Security Administration has a 100%, you could say, perfect score on their mission. And the mission is to prevent hijackings, explosive devices from getting on an airplane. And like I said, since its inception, after 9/11, we've had no aircraft leaving an American airport that's been hijacked or blown up. So thumbs up to TSA. I worked over there about a year with them over McCarran Airport. Anyway, thumbs up, good job. I was just looking at something last night and a couple of people were bad-mouthing TSA because of the hassle. I'll talk about that in another podcast about what people used to call you and stuff. It's, hey, they're there to protect the flying public. If you don't like it, don't fly. Before I get to the main subject today, and the title of this podcast is LVMPD Deputy Chief and Captain's Face-Off with CCFD, which stands for the Clark County Fire Department, Captain led to an arrest. I'll get to that in a second. But in episodes 121 and 122, I broke the story. It was the first to report in Las Vegas that Las Vegas Metro Police Officer Richard J. Landau, Jr., that's Landal, was charged with open and gross lewdness stemming from a September 20th incident where Landau reportedly masturbated in front of a female massage therapist. And since that story came out, the media picked it up. Metro started talking about it, and I guess they're saying that this guy wore plain clothes and he was on duty at the time this incident happened. So we'll see what comes of this. I have a photograph that I obtained from a police source of Officer Landau. Let me get up on the screen here. And move me up here. Okay. That over there. Okay, that is Officer Richard Landau. And like I said in the first podcast, he was assigned to the Spring Valley area command. Now, in episode 122, I believe it was, and I read the first page of the declaration of arrest that I obtained, and I didn't post it. I posted the header. So let me get it up on the screen here now. I told you I'd keep you updated, and as I get more things and get them posted. So let me get this thing. Okay, let me go off the screen here for a second. Okay, so that's the declaration of arrest, probable cause statement. It's the first page. Now, as usual, let me get this banner off here for a second because I don't think it's going to block some of this stuff. But as usual, public gets outraged, and they make comments. Now, I'm going to show some clips of posts that were posts that were posted on the LVMPD's Twitter page after this thing became public with Landau. And let's play that here. It's going to loop here, so I want to talk about some of the things that are on here. And my audio podcast people, like I said, I'll read some of the things because you're not going to be able to see what I'm talking about. Get me off the screen here because I'm blocking the view here. Okay, like I said, this was posted. You could see the dates on it. They're making some jokes. But here's two, because this is one of the sentiments also from police sources that I'm hearing. There's one person named Edison. Now, these things were deleted by the LVMPD later on. I guess they didn't like the remarks the public was saying. But you see the one from Edison saying, just following the footsteps of the soon-to-be sheriff at Kevin McMahill, a guest lewd acts running the department, and is referring to Sheriff-elect Kevin McMahill, and we're going to talk about this a little bit on the podcast. It's going to merge into something we're talking about today. Charges was sustained on Kevin McMahill back in 1995 from an Internal Affairs Bureau investigation for basically not being truthful, conduct on becoming an officer, neglect of duty. So according to Metro Internal Affairs Bureau, he's a documented liar and a documented pervert relating to the incident with Carrie Lance back in 1995. Let me read this other one over here so the audio podcast people can get some in there. And this other one was from Jane, and that was posted on October 3rd to the LVMPD Twitter page. And this person says, yeah, give it some time, and this guy will be sheriff in 25 years. So I heard some cops making jokes about that too, that Landau should just say he didn't do it, plead not guilty, and then he could run for sheriff in 25 years. And they're referring to Kevin McMahill's incident back in 1995. Okay, let's get that off the screen there. Okay. Listen, the topic today, you got to listen to this because this hasn't hit the media yet. Don't know why, but we'll talk about something here in a second. Now, according to police sources who spoke to me, on July 5th, Las Vegas Metro Police Deputy Chief Sasha Larkin, who commands the Homeland Security Bureau, and Captain Michelle Tavares, who commands the Spring Valley Area Command. Listen, before I talk about this, what I'm going to do? I'm going to play a short video clip because I spoke about Deputy Chief Sasha Larkin in a previous podcast. So let me play this short video clip. It's only a couple minutes to give you some background on what I did mentioning her in several podcasts. So let's get this thing going here. Sasha Larkin is Deputy Chief with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. She's been on the department for over 22 years. She oversees the Homeland Security Division that encompasses the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center, the Homeland Security Saturation Team, the SWAT Team, Air Support, K-9, the Armor Group, which is an acronym for All Hazards Regional Multi-Agency Operations and Response, and the Criminal Intelligence Section. So that was Deputy Chief Larkin. I'm going to show a better photograph that I obtained. This photograph was taken this past Sunday in London, England. And you'll see the people depicted in the photograph. They're at a counterterrorism conference that's being held for 3 days in London. And I'll show who's here in this photograph. This was posted to social media, and somebody sent it to me yesterday or the day before. Okay. What we're looking at here is the gentleman on the left, that's Captain Dory Corin. That's Dorikoren. That's his girlfriend. I believe she's an attorney here in Las Vegas. That's Deputy Chief Sasha Larkin, showing her leg there. And next to her is retired Undersheriff Todd Fasulo. Kevin McMahill's wife, who's a retired deputy chief. There's some friction over the years between her and Sasha Larkin, because I said in one of those podcasts that sources told me allegedly Kevin McMahill had an extramarital affair at one time with Sasha Larkin when she was years ago, okay? And his wife found out about it and doesn't want him going anywhere with her. And a matter of fact, somebody told me the other day that a couple of years ago, McMahill was scheduled to attend an out-of-state training seminar with then Captain Sasha Larkin. Now she's the deputy chief. And when Kelly McMahill, Kevin McMahill's wife, found out about it, the sources told me that Kevin McMahill canceled at the last minute, and he did not go out of state. It's pretty bad when you can't trust your own spouse. But considering this guy's history, who knows? Anyway, that's what sources told me. Sasha Larkin. Remember, I think it was 2 podcasts back, I spoke about the Airport Bureau, Metro cop assigned to the Airport Bureau. His last name was Gutierrez. And it's the guy that let the alleged sexual predator, child sex predator, walk off the plane without being caught. And his supervisor, and I put the contact form up on the screen in that podcast, wrote him up. Well, the supervisor was Sergeant Eric Gallegos. I don't know how you pronounce the guy's name. Gallegos. Some people say Gallegos, Gallegos, but Gallegos. That's what I'll say. But prior to Sergeant Gallegos being assigned to the Airport Bureau, he was assigned to the Summerlin Area Command. And at that time, Sasha Larkin was a captain still, and she was the bureau commander of the Summerlin Area Command here in Las Vegas Valley. Anyway, Gallegos bragged about this to all the people over there at the Summerlin Area Command. And he said that one night he was on patrol in a business complex, and he saw a car with the windows steamed up. And he went to check it out, and when the window came down, lo and behold, it was his captain, Sasha Larkin, in the car with another person. Now, he said he never saw who the other person was in the car, but he was totally embarrassed. She tried to explain what was going on. He didn't want to hear it. He just wanted to get away. And I guess he went back, and told the guys this. And I guess for a couple days later, Sasha Larkin kept calling him up, and he just didn't want to hear nothing. He said, "It's none of my business." I said that in 117, episode 117, that Joe Herring, they call him Joey Herring, I call him Joe Herring, he's a lieutenant, was coming under scrutiny, the unit, because of improprieties allegedly with cash expenditures. Well, I obtained a confidential memo that was put out last month by Deputy Chief Sasha Larkin, and I made a screenshot, a video clip of it, and I'll have it on the screen here while I read it. Let's get that going here. Okay. And for the audio podcast people, it's this is from Sasha Larkin, Deputy Chief, and she says, "Team, want to share the very clear instruction I was given yesterday by 100. Just so people know, 100 is the radio call sign of Clark County Sheriff Joe Lombardo, who runs the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. We, Intel, in capital letters, will 100% of the time include and attach receipts on our expense reports / chit sheets. This is a non-negotiable. I have confidence you guys can find a way to obtain one or to back and get one at a later time." And I put exactly how this was written. I believe she meant to go back and get one at a later time. "Let me assure you, this message was made incredibly clear to me, and we will follow this rule without fail. Or do not turn in a reimbursement request without one. Thank you for your understanding with this matter. Sasha Larkin, Deputy Chief, Homeland Security Division, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, 400 South Martin Luther King Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89106. So that's further corroboration for what I put out in 117, and that was a confidential interdepartmental memo that was put out by Deputy Chief Sasha Larkin, my understanding last month, to the Criminal Intelligence Unit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that excerpt you just watched and listened to was from my episode 118 that was published on May 18th of this year, and the title is LVMPD Criminal Intelligence Section Under Scrutiny. So, get that off here. Okay, now let's go back to what I really started saying before I play that. According to my sources, this is coming from police sources and other sources, on July 5th, Las Vegas Metro Police Deputy Chief Sasha Larkin, who commands the Homeland Security Bureau, as you just heard, and Captain Michelle Tavares, that's Tavarez, who commands the Spring Valley Area Command, went to Clark County Fire Station, and I don't have the number, I think it was 22, 21 or something. Anyway, it was a fire station in the Spring Valley Area Command where Michelle Tavares commands the Spring Valley Area Command. So they went to the fire station, both Larkin and Tavares, at which time I'm told Michelle Tavares's, before I talk, Michelle Tavares's wife is a Clark County fire captain. Her name is Jasmine Gazenauer, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's Ghazinnour, and that's where Captain Gazenauer works at the fire station. I think I have a photograph of her from a Facebook page. Let me get it up here. 11. Okay, that's Captain Gazenauer. Now I want to put a photograph up here of Sasha Larkin, Deputy Chief, and Michelle Tavares. And, okay, now, get me off here. That's Sasha Larkin on the left. That's Michelle Tavares on, Sasha Larkin on the left, Michelle Tavares on the right. And the middle photo, which I'll explain a little further down on, is actually a photo. It is not a meme, from what I'm told. That is an actual photograph, and that is on the top left-hand side. That's Sasha Larkin, and then there on the bottom on the right-hand side is Captain Michelle Tavares. And I don't think I have to explain to anybody what they're depicting in that photograph. I'll leave that to your imagination. So, anyway, Larkin and Tavares, July 5th, went to the fire station where Captain Gazenauer, Tavares' wife, was working, and they confronted her. And what I'm told is Larkin was in civilian attire, and Captain Tavares was in full uniform, and they confronted Captain Gazenauer. Now, from what I was told, Tavares and Gazanauer were somewhat separated at the time, and I'll get more on that here in a little later, because from what I'm being told is Captain Gazanauer found out that Tavares was involved allegedly in an affair with Deputy Chief Larkin. Okay? So there was something going on with money or something, so they went to the fire station, confronted her, and things kind of got pretty bad. Her words were exchanged. It was pretty fiery, no pun intended. And during these exchange going on, I guess Captain Tavares made a comment to Captain Gazanauer relating something about a sexual performance or something, from what I'm hearing, which resulted in Captain Gazanauer striking Michelle Tavares in the face. This was witnessed by multiple people at the fire station. And so what happened next was, let me get that photograph for her. I don't want to look at that anymore. Put me back here, full screen. Okay. So according to sources, because Michelle Tavares commands the Spring Valley Area Command, and there would have been a conflict of interest had police officers from the Spring Valley Area Command responded to the fire station to handle this incident. Police officers from the, and this went through dispatch from the whole, I'm not going to get to the whole thing. In essence, police officers from the adjacent area command, the Bolden Area Command, responded to the fire station to investigate the incident. On July 5th, this is when it happened, I was told that Jasmine Gazanauer was arrested on July 5th after the police investigation when they responded to the fire station, and she was charged with 1 count of domestic battery, first offense, and booked into the Clark County Detention Center. Now, I have that Clark County record, so let me get that up on the screen so you could see it. Okay. And as you can see, it states the arrest on July 5th, domestic battery, first offense. It was like there was a $3,000 cash bail, and she was in custody there in the jail. Now, let's go to the Las Vegas Justice Court record, and I'm going to tell you what happened with this arrest. Let me get this up on the screen, and I'll read it so my audio podcast people can understand what I'm talking about over here. Okay, this is the, do I have it? Yes, I do. Justice Court, okay. Justice Court record. Okay. Now, what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, is the Las Vegas Justice Court record on Jasmine Gazanauer. I'll read what it says here. On July 6th, the day after she was arrested, and the charge, domestic battery, first offense, but as you can see, the district attorney's office denied the charges. So let's go back here and look at really what happened in the sequence of events. It says on July 5th, the DA request for prosecution, that's the day she was arrested, the prosecution request was sent to the district attorney's office. Case assignment was sent. July 6th, it went to the Justice Court. Pro temp Judge Lisa Chamlee, Chamlee. And then if you go down and follow me what I'm reading here, it says probable cause review packet. And then it says case retract. We don't need that. Probable cause found. And of course, they're saying probable cause was found for the arrest because they didn't arrested her on the 5th. there was probable cause for the arrest. Otherwise, they never would have arrested her. Now you go back down further, and you see where it says July 6, 2022, DA denial. That means the district attorney's office, the Clark County District Attorney's Office, denied the charges. She was released. It says release from custody, DA denial. So the charges were dropped. Now, if you go down a little further, you see on July 20th, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, the newspaper out here, one of them, filed a motion for disclosure of non-public information related to this case. And on August 5th of this year, you go down the bottom, it says KLAS TV. That's 8 News Now out here in Las Vegas. They also filed a motion for disclosure of non-public information. Now, whether they got that information or not, I don't know, because I don't work for them. But this hasn't been reported in local Las Vegas media, either by the Journal or Channel 8. So, and it's now October 9th, and nothing's been reported. Now, when I found it, now I said I'm backed up on a lot of podcasts. So when I found out about this, and I heard they were, Captain Gazanower filed for a divorce, and I had to check it. And I went on to the 8th Judicial District Court records here in Las Vegas, and indeed, the same day the charges were dropped on July 6th, and I have some of these records. I'm not going to post them. They're just, basically it just says she filed for divorce. So on July 6th, Jasmine Gazanower filed for divorce from Michelle Tavares, her wife. And now obviously, she was arrested on the 5th. The records, the filing came on the 6th, and that's just a coincidence because you can't file these papers in one day. This has been something that was going on for a period of time. The records were filed, the divorce records were filed on July 6th. And now if you go online to the online portal of the 8th Judicial District Court, you're not going to be able to get them because I think it's been sealed because it's not public access. But like I said, I got the header and some pages and stuff, and not worth talking about. It's divorce paperwork. So she wants to be divorced from Michelle Tavares. And, from hearing, if it's this alleged affair with Sasha Larkin, that's what caused this argument, which police officers, by the way, someone who spoke to me, they're on the fire captain's side. They're saying that pretty much Michelle Tavares, with her words and everything, provoked this woman, and she ended up getting hit in the face because some of the comments that were made. Now, is that why the district attorney's office dropped the case? We don't know. Or was it dropped because they didn't want any public exposure to this because of the embarrassment to the fire department, but more so an embarrassment to the police department? Lombardo's running for governor, and Sasha Larkin is the deputy chief, and Tavares, like I said, is the captain of the Spring Valley Area Command. So who knows? That's what's going on with that. Now, I also found out from another source, and I was told that a complaint was filed with the Clark County Child Protective Services, CPS, alleging inappropriate behavior on the part of Sasha Larkin and Michelle Tavares that allegedly occurred in front of Tavares's and Gazanower's children, because they have some children together. Whether those allegations are true or not, I don't know. And what the status of the investigation was with Child Protective Services is unknown to me at this time. If I do hear anything, I will let you know. But the complaint was made, and that was the allegation from what I found out. Now, there was an Internal Affairs Bureau investigation, I was told also, involving this whole incident, and then more. Now, let's get back to the photograph I had up earlier. Okay, now what is this? Of course, that's Larkin on the left, Tavares on the right. That is them in that photograph. And from what I was told from sources is the tongue photo, as I will call it. It's not a meme, it's an actual photograph. And that was sent to Jasmine Gazenauer, I was told, after the arrest, a couple days later, whenever, to taunt Jasmine Gazenauer. And I heard that Gazenauer sent the photo out to friends, and it made its way, it spread to the police department, and then people started posting memes ridiculing Deputy Chief Larkin and Captain Tavares, and this went department-wide from what my sources are saying over at the headquarters at 400 Martin Luther King Boulevard. So, I'm going to get that off the screen, but, I don't have to tell you what they're doing in that photograph. So you got that. But let's say this. We're looking at the faces here of Las Vegas Metro Police leadership. Sasha Larkin, like I said, runs one of the most sensitive bureaus in the police department, the Homeland Security Bureau. That encompasses the SWAT team, like I said earlier, the criminal intelligence section, all the sensitive units. And then, of course, Captain Tavares, Michelle Tavares, is the captain of the Spring Valley Area Command. So that's what we got going on there. But we got a lot more. Now, I guess some cops were talking that they felt that Michelle Tavares should have been charged with oppression under the color of law because she confronted her wife at the fire station while she was still in uniform, and that would fit the parameters of oppression under the color of law, from what I'm told. However, I was also told that Lieutenant William Matchko, who's a union representative with the PMSA, which is the Police Managers and Supervisors Association, which is the union for police supervisors and managers, and that he was telling people when he heard this that Michelle Tavares was still a victim of domestic violence. But like I said, the charges were dropped. So there was an internal affairs investigation going on. And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Now, there's also another internal affairs investigation going on. And that was because, like I said, members of the department were responsible for sending out that photograph that you just saw and memes. They make up these memes as a joke, different things, and I have some of them. I'm not going to post them, but that it ridiculed Sasha Larkin and Michelle Tavares because of that incident. And I was told that several police officers from the Southeast Area Command were brought in by internal affairs detectives and interviewed if they were the source of the memes that went out. But here's where it gets a little deep here. Listen to this. I also was told that police department cell phones that were assigned to some cops, including lieutenants, were also confiscated by internal affairs during this investigation. Try to find out who's sending these memes, because these went out department-wide. Now, like I said, those memes went out, and that photograph, I'm told, department-wide, and everybody reposts them, and they joke about it, and they laugh about it, including, what I was told, captains and deputy chiefs, so supervisors. They saw it, they're laughing, they're making jokes about this. Excuse me. Get some water here. So, my comment on that is, you can't burn, and this is what police officers tell me to do, you can't burn line-level officers if they indeed sent those memos out, those memes out, not memos, memes, without going after the supervision. And I was told that captains and deputy chiefs at headquarters and everything were all laughing about these, so that investigation most likely is going nowhere. Because if it's not, if lower-level cops, this is my opinion now, if lower-level, line-level officers get in trouble for sending these memes out, I think they have a good case at appealing that if supervisors that knew about it and laughed about it at headquarters, including deputy chiefs, so probably going to go nowhere with that investigation. Now, after the July 5th incident, about a week later, this photograph was posted let me get up on the screen here, on an LVMPD website, and it was taken, you'll see here, at police headquarters. And let me get up on the screen here. Let's tell you why I'm, okay. So, that is a photograph. It was taken at 400, get me off the screen here, you could see what's going on there. Okay, that's Deputy Chief Larkin in uniform on the left. There's another police officer, I don't know what her name is, in the middle. And then it's Captain Michelle Tavares, and they're holding up this enlarged check that I guess was given to the women of Metro by the United Way. So it was a, they're making a promotional photograph, and that was posted on an LVMPD, one of the social media websites. I don't know if it was Twitter or a Facebook page, but it doesn't matter. That picture was posted. So, and that you see the check is dated July 12th. So why am I showing that? Well, I don't show things for no reason. There's always a reason. Now, in response, I got to tell you, my throat's killing me. The other day, I ate a couple of habaneros, and I didn't think they were as hot as they were, and it burned the living daylights out of my throat. So I'm like a freaking mess, and then with the allergies. But anyway, you don't care about that. So in response to this photograph being posted, I think it was LVMPD Twitter page or whatever they posted, this gentleman, and his name is William, let me get it up on the screen here. There's too many inputs. It drives me crazy, but okay. Now, I think you can see that without taking me off. Again, in response to that photograph that I just showed you, and I'll read this so my audio podcast people, they can't see what's up on the screen. Retired Las Vegas Metro Police Sergeant William Corral, if I'm spelling it right, K-U-R-A-W, posted this on the LVMPD social media site. Very tone deaf of the department to put two of the department quote-unquote leaders who are not bound by department policy so soon after their incident. Every employee knows nothing will likely happen to them, even though every other employee not quote-unquote connected would probably have lost their job. Either you lack common sense for including them, he means in the photograph, or you are flaunting the fact that they are above the standards everyone else has to follow. Make better choices. Including them distracts from what you are trying to do. But that's like my opinion, man. And then some woman, Ashley DeRosa, says nice with an exclamation point. And so that's the response to the photograph from the retired Sergeant William Corral. And you can go back and look at it. And, and he's correct. Like I said, that whole incident was, why was Sasha Larkin accompanying, those allegations? He accompanied Tavares over there. And this thing happened in front of a bunch of people, the multiple witnesses. They arrest Gazanauer, and then the charges are dropped the next day. But like I said, the police officer who spoke to me, they were all siding with Fire Captain Gazanauer on this one because they said Tavares and was out of line, so was Larkin. She shouldn't even be there. So, but this guy's right, because this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. How many times in stories I wrote for the Baltimore Post-Examiner or on my podcast have I said, under Joe Lombardo and other sheriffs, supervisors get away with a lot of stuff, and people at the bottom get burned, okay, for things that supervisors get away with. And, there's a problem with not only with this thing here, I got more coming on this, but this is my little commentary here in between all this. The Las Vegas Metro Police Department, I said this in multiple podcasts, has a problem over the years with integrity, code of conduct from the top on down. Remember, we had two former sheriffs who were married who had affairs with female subordinates. We had another former sheriff who was a notorious drunk, and he had a little sexual encounter with a female at a casino in an elevator. I heard it was oral sex, But the freaking idiot didn't realize there was a camera in there. Now, I heard this happened, years ago. He's retired now, this guy, but he was a sheriff. And that I heard that they had connections with the surveillance department, and there's some cops that actually had that video. So, from years ago. So, hey, you know how to get me stuff? I'd like to see that video, and if you get it to me, we'll get it out. And then, of course, you got the allegations against McMahill from 1995. He's still a documented liar and documented pervert. We've seen nothing different, and this is going on all through his campaign. And so you know, people, he is the sheriff-elect because in June of this year, he won the majority vote. So there's no runoff next month in November, and he'll take office in January as the sheriff of Clark County. And he's a documented liar, and he's a documented pervert, and he's lied about other stuff, and I've talked about it in the previous podcast. So anyway, that's my little spiel to get that off my chest. And so now what are we going to talk about? Okay, more. Now, I got a lot of police officers. They talk to me. What I'm hearing is that just like this guy said in that post that he put out, that they basically get away with stuff, Larkin and Tavares, because of who they are. They're connected. So police officers are also saying the same thing, from what I'm told, is that Michelle Tavares is untouchable because her father, retired Captain Mark Tavares, who supported Kevin McMahill for sheriff, changed the official narrative of his 1995 Internal Affairs Bureau investigation involving McMahill when he told 8 News Now in April of this year that he now believes, 27 years later, in 2022, that former LVMPD officer William Stoops was responsible for the entire misconduct in 1995 and not McMahill. And that's what they're saying. So what am I talking about for people that don't know, haven't been following all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen? So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, let me play a short video excerpt from episode 108 that I published on April 3rd, 2022. And this is interesting because the cops are saying this now after the July 5th incident with Larkin and Tavares. But and you listen to what I'm saying in this one, my podcast was published April 3rd, 2022, about 3 months prior to this incident. So I'm going to play it. It's about 5-6 minutes long. So you get a little background on what these cops are talking about and what I said in this podcast. So let me play that. Kevin McMahill, circa 1990s. Kevin McMahill, 2022. Nothing changed, not back in 1995, when he was the subject of an internal affairs investigation, or now. He's still a liar. He lied in 1995. We know that because the charges were sustained against him. I'm going to get that in a minute on the screen again. And he's lying again now in 2022. Okay? Then he's attacking his department because you heard him say at the end when she confronted him, and you saw the expression on his face, he's a liar. Well, Jennifer Clampett passed her polygraph. Well, I didn't see it. And I don't know how they forced her or pushed her into it. So now he's not only blaming the department because of the way they handled the polygraph examination on Jennifer Clampett, but he's already said by his own admission in that interview with Vanessa Murphy from 8 News Now I-Team that he wasn't there. He never saw anything. Nobody ever asked a woman to expose her genitals. He's lying about the whole incident, ladies and gentlemen. Officer McMahill said to the female, quote, "Show me your snatch and I'll give you the wine back," unquote. A little further on, Officer Stoops then told the female to eat the rock of cocaine or she would go to jail. Okay? Then, bottom sentence there, Officer Clampett was present during this incident. This is Lieutenant Stavros Anthony, and I'm going to read on a little further, sending this memo to Sheriff Jerry Keller based on the Internal Affairs Bureau investigation. Not something that Stavros Anthony investigated and determined himself. based on the Internal Affairs Bureau investigation. And then they told him about it. He's the supervisor, the Southeast Area Command, and he's writing his recommendation to Jerry Keller. Let's go on a little bit more, okay? On July 31st, 1995, and I'm going to confirm this in a document that I never posted before. Okay, July 31st, 1995, ladies and gentlemen, this incident was reported to Internal Affairs Bureau by Officer Clampett in a formal interview. IAB investigator, Sergeant Mark Tavares, interviewed Carrie Lance. This is so freaking important, ladies and gentlemen. This is 1995. Sergeant Tavares, the Internal Affairs Bureau investigator, interviewed Carrie Lance, and she substantiated the above events. The events as Jennifer Clampett reported them to her supervisor and then to the Internal Affairs Bureau. Mark Tavares says that in there, in this 1995 document, Carrie Lance substantiated the events as they happened. And we know now in 2022, she's relating the same thing to Vanessa Murphy in that video. On that video, she's relating the same thing she told the Internal Affairs Bureau back in 1995. Both denied the charges, meaning McMahill and Stoops, back in 1995, okay? Further, polygraph exams were given to all these officers. Officer Clampett came back truthful. Officers Stoops and McMahill came back deceptive. As a result of this investigation by Internal Affairs Bureau, misconduct was sustained for conduct unbecoming an officer, neglect of duty. In addition, misconduct not based on the original complaint, truthfulness required at all times. My corrective action recommendation for both officers is termination. Signed, Stavros Anthony, Lieutenant, Southeast Area Command. He is a liar. The investigation concluded he is a liar. The investigation concluded in 1995. He is a pervert. Mr. McMahill, if I was interviewing you the other day and I had these documents, including all of them, I would have shoved them right in your face after I asked you for your response, and you said you were never there when somebody said expose your genitals, any woman, neither any officer, because Mr. McMahill, here's the camera, you are a freaking liar. Because now you're blaming everybody, including your own department. So I guess Stavros Anthony is a liar. Mark Tavares is a liar because of his investigation. Steve Franks is a liar because everything he's putting in here is based on the Internal Affairs Bureau investigation from 1995. Ladies and gentlemen, not from 2022. No, this isn't a Kavanaugh incident like some people, some of his supporters are saying online and social media. These are documents that show the Internal Affairs Bureau investigation from 1995 was conducted and the charges were sustained. We're going to go to Mark Tavares. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to this. From the 8 News Now interview on Friday, April 1st, that was aired.
The I-Team spoke with then Sergeant Mark Tavares Friday. He said he had no reason to believe the event didn't happen, but he now believes Stoops committed the acts and is to blame, not McMahill.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2022. Mark Tavares, retired, he says he has no doubt the event happened, the incident happened. Well, I sure hope so, Mr. Tavares, because you conducted the investigation in 1995 and all the documents conclude that your investigation resulted in sustained charges against McMahill and Stoops. So I'm glad you said you believe it happened. But Mr. Tavares, why are you saying now in 2022, that you believe Stoops did the whole thing? That he made her eat the rock of cocaine, he made the statement to her. Why are you changing that story 27 years later? When we know, we heard Carrie Lance on Friday, April 1st, in the airing of that 8 News Now interview, say they made me show my genitals and they told me to eat the crack cocaine. There is nothing in any of the documents that I have where you said, by the way, people, Sheriff Keller, Lieutenant Anthony, I do not think McMahill made the comment. You didn't say that, Mr. Tavares. You sustained the charges, and it went up the chain of command. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what he just said on Friday, Mark Tavares, okay, again, confirms that McMahill is continually lying, because Tavares said to 8 News Now, I have no doubt the incident happened. But McMahill's saying, in essence, the incident didn't happen because I never made a statement to a woman asking her to, or ordering her to show me her genitals, and neither did any other police officer at any time when I was around them. So again, Mark Tavares is now, on his statement to News Now, further proves Mr. McMahill is still lying his ass off, okay? The problem I got with Mr. Tavares is, why is he saying now he believes that Stoops did it all? If Stoops did it all, ladies and gentlemen, and you want to believe Mr. Tavares 27 years later, then it still proves that Kevin McMahill in 2022 is still a documented freaking liar, because that's what he is. Because he said the incident happened. I have no doubt it happened, because he did the investigation 27 years ago. But why is he saying now that he thinks Stoops did it all? Tavares is on another planet, okay? Because he's making a statement in 2022 that completely contradicts his internal affairs investigation from 1995. Because now he's saying he believes now that Stoops did it all. Where is the evidence, Mr. Tavares, retired captain, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department? What are you basing that on? Now, I didn't hear Vanessa Murphy respond to him and say, why are you making a comment like that? What are you basing that on? Because apparently he's basing it on nothing, an opinion, 20-something years later. That's immaterial, people, because the preponderance of the evidence, okay, indicates on all those records that I produced on the podcast and today is that the IAB investigation was conducted. Both of those officers were brought up on charges. The charges were sustained. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Nice-looking lady. Who is she? She's obviously a captain on the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. She is the daughter of Mark Tavares, the retired captain. Miss Tavares, Captain Tavares, I'll be respectful. I don't know anything about this lady. I think she's a bureau commander, but she's a captain currently on the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Mark Tavares said in the newspaper article of the day he's supporting Kevin McMahill for sheriff. Now, did he say that statement that he made, that he thinks that Stoops said it and did everything and McMahill didn't do anything? Because his daughter, Captain Tavares, Michelle Tavares, is currently on the police department, and maybe he thinks that if Kevin gets in as sheriff, and I hope he doesn't, because he's a dirtbag, he's a documented pervert and liar forever, okay, that his daughter may not get promoted above the rank of captain. And why am I saying that, ladies and gentlemen? Strictly my opinion, okay? Maybe on her abilities, maybe she deserves to be a deputy chief. But the incumbent sheriff, the sheriff of Clark County, anybody above the rank of captain is appointed to the rank of deputy chief and to the rank of assistant sheriff and to under sheriff, whatever the sheriff says. So they don't take a promotional exam. The promotional exams stop at the rank of captain. Everything after that is appointed. So maybe he's saying, I side with Kevin on this 20-something years later, even though it contradicts my investigation from 1995 that we know is correct because we got all the documents. And I'm going to get to those documents in a second also. But maybe he's looking out for his daughter. Maybe if I side with McMahill now and say Stoops did it all, maybe my daughter will get promoted to deputy chief. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what you just heard, like I stated earlier, that was from episode 108 that I published on April 3rd, 2022, and that podcast was titled Kevin McMahill Says Female Victim, Police Officer, and the LVMPD Lied About 1995 Incident. Now, as usual, I'm going to have the links to the full episodes of both of these things, because there's a lot more in these episodes. I just put the 5-6 minute short in this video here, so you're not going to go back and listen to the whole thing. But that's the essence. It pertains to this podcast today. And again, that's 3 months before the incident happened. Now cops are saying they think because, her father changed his story about the Internal Affairs investigation because he supported Kevin McMahill during the campaign. Kevin McMahill, like I said, is the sheriff-elect of Clark County. He will take office in January 2023. And he's a documented liar and a documented pervert. Neither him nor Sheriff Lombardo have brought forward any evidence to the contrary that I talked about in 5 podcasts on this McMahill incident, and the documents that I produced, and I'll have those links in there also. So, that's what it is. Take it for what it's worth, make your own opinion. But this is the kind of BS that goes on in the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And I received more information the other day, and I think I mentioned this one thing in a couple of podcasts. From what I heard is that when Kevin McMahill takes office in January, Sasha Larkin will be promoted from the rank of deputy chief to the rank of assistant sheriff. That's the rumor, people close to McMahill. And I also heard the other day that Assistant Sheriff Andrew Walsh, they call him Andrew Walsh, is on McMahill's short list to be the next undersheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And Walsh and McMahill have been very close friends for years. They lived together on the same street, and I know McMahill sold his house, but when they were living together the same complex or area. So that's what's going on there. I also received information excuse me. This police department's a freaking mess. I said it a long time ago. Cops have told me, it's worse than Peyton Place. I know a lot of young people don't know what that is. The soap opera back in the 60s, and everybody was fooling around with everybody, wives, husbands, and so they say, it's like a Peyton Place, the police department. And I said in one of the podcasts a couple of months back that some of the cops say, Joseph Wambar's choir boys got nothing on some of the cops at the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, including supervisors. And if you remember, I don't know if this goes back years, but Joseph Wambar was a retired LAPD cop that wrote books and made some movies about it. It was the choir boys, and go back and watch the movie. It's about all this nonsense and going on. So that's what they say. The LVMPD is worse with some of the people, supervision and officers that goes on in the department. Let me get back to what I said. The other day I was told that another area command captain last year came under scrutiny because he was having an affair with a female civilian employee of the police department who was a director, and he's now divorced. So, this nonsense has been going on for years. And I said a long time ago, you got this nepotism also is a major problem here with this police department. You got family members and, people married to judges and, anyway, so it's, so I'm just saying that for what it's worth. But, what did I say? Walsh, remember him? We did him. Larkin, there's a couple other things here that they told me. But, this goes back a couple of years. But this is just how disgusting, and I think it is, because, I don't, I look at it this way, and I'm with Gaza now where she filed for a divorce, okay? And once you break the trust of your spouse, and this is the way I believe my entire life, I never fooled around on my wife. I've never fooled around on any woman that I've been out with. You don't have to be married. It's an honor thing. It's a trust thing. Once you break trust, it's, to me, it's done. It's over with. Goodbye and have a nice day. But to screw around on your spouse, the person you go home to every night, and you're fooling around with somebody else, okay? I never prescribe to that, but people do what they want to do. But let me get back to this here before I close this out, because we're coming up to an hour. I think we're an hour right now. You know, years ago, and cops have told me this over the years, and there was a now retired lieutenant, and you know what his thing was, ladies and gentlemen? He used to hide in the bedroom closet of his house while other cops came over and had sex with his wife, okay? It's freaking disgusting as far as I'm concerned, but you can go back, I can go back 20 years and tell you stories of things that police officers have told me, because I've been out here for 20-something years, but it just goes to show, you know, the code of conduct, the morality, and you know, everybody does their own, everybody's responsible for their own actions. But when you have people at the top commanding an agency, and they're married, and they're screwing around with female subordinates, and they're drunks, and, you know, doing all this crazy stuff, how do you think that filters down to the people at the bottom? And then when these cops at the bottom see people in management getting away with things that they would be fired for, and they're still on the department, you know, the LVMPD has some major problems. As two retired cops told me the other day, nothing's going to change come January 23rd, because you look at the integrity and the morals of Kevin McMahill. So nothing's going to change in this police department, and that's what the police, that's what the cops say, and obviously citizens are upset with it too. So let me back up on the screen here so you can see this little banner going here. That one over here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's I got so much stuff coming out. I got more stuff on other Internal Affairs Bureau investigations, things that I haven't talked about, and other stuff. Remember, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the red subscribe button. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. If you want to support my work, paypal.me/Doug Poppa. You'll see it at the end of this podcast. If you want to contact me, it's truthandconsequenceswdp@gmail.com. That's also on the outro. You'll see it coming up there. So you know, it is what it is, and some of these things are just you know, it's just disturbing to me. You know, I was a cop. You know, and I lost my job as a cop because of corrupt sheriff and captains and deputy chief, under sheriff that all had to protect their own ass at my expense. So that's why I do what I do here. I give a voice to the cops here, and then on some other departments over the years that I've talked about that don't, you know, they want to say stuff, get off their chest, but they can't, because if they come out publicly and say something, you know, against somebody up at the top, and that person's protected by the sheriff, you know, they end up losing their job, or they sick the criminal intelligence unit on them, and I'm going to be talking about that in the future also, because those guys did some horrendous stuff over the years from what I've been told. They work directly, they take their orders directly from the sheriff, and you got Sheriff Lombardo running for governor. You want this guy as governor? Vote for him. I'm not. He is a documented liar. He's corrupt, and he's freaking incompetent. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, of the podcast, all this nonsense going on in this police department, all these allegations of, you know, people screwing around with everybody else's spouses and drinking and all this type of stuff. And then you wonder why that on the night of October 1st, 2017, a lot of things went wrong. Sheriff Lombardo even says that in his own after-action report. And I'm going to do a whole podcast on this because I'm not done with the massacre stuff also. He even said, we didn't have a mass casualty incident plan in place. Some supervisors didn't know what was expected of them. Police officers told me, and I wrote stories on it, they had to run 2 blocks to get their rifles out of their car because Lombardo didn't like the idea of cops. They changed it now. He had no choice because of the massacre, but before the massacre, the night of the massacre, because Lombardo is, what I'm told over the years, is pretty much anti-gun. He doesn't like the public image of cops carrying, you know, AR-15 platform rifles, and that's since changed because of what happened on October 1st. But, you know, This is the nonsense that goes on. And then you got to wonder why all the stuff that they should have in place the night of October 1st, 2017, it was not in place. Because, it's like a circus, with the management up there. Not everybody. There's a few good ones at the top. But McMahill, no, in my opinion. Lombardo, no, in my opinion. So this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Enough of the rant. We're 1 hour and 5 minutes. Appreciate you listening to these podcasts. I appreciate the comments that I get through my emails and stuff. And we got so much more stuff coming out that you will not hear in the local Las Vegas media. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again on the next episode.
The top cop who put his badge on the line for justice.
You know the name Doug Poppa?
Yes, I do. God bless Doug Poppa, an honest cop.
He was a man of integrity. His testimony last summer freed an innocent man from jail who had already been convicted of shooting his ex-wife. But Poppa's going public cost him his job as an undercover cop.
I was elated, of course, but then as he testified, I was somewhat concerned for him, because I knew that they were probably going to crucify that man.
Sometimes the truth has a price. That may be the lesson of a Virginia police officer who says, in trying to do the right thing, he ended up paying for it.
The message you're sending is, see, we did it, Doug. You don't come out, you don't buck the system. No matter what the reason is, you just can basically keep your mouth shut. But if I wouldn't do it all over again, I would take the badge and I would leave it on somebody's desk and get out of police work. Because the day I can't tell the truth because somebody's pressuring me, and the day the system doesn't want me to tell the truth because somebody's pressuring me, is the day I leave the badge on the desk and walk away.
Poppa was fired for insubordination. One man who confronted truth and consequences.